Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday, October 13th, 2019. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm here on Lada's channel every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific with messages from your angels for the week ahead to traverse the transits. Okay, so as you all know, we play a little game, or maybe you don't know if you're new. We play a little game here every week. You have an opportunity to win a free reading. We have the number range between 2 and 500, and this week's number was 422. It's unfortunate, but we did not have a winner again. Somebody mentioned that the range between 2 and 500 was too large. They said it was ridiculous. Lada has 197,000 followers, so that's why I picked that range, because with the opportunity that there could be tens of thousands of people, that seemed pretty reasonable to me. So I hope we have a winner, you guys. I look forward to giving stuff away. It's kind of what I like to do. Okay, so I was really contemplating this full moon. I got to tell you, this week, this T-square and the 20-degree sun and Pluto is just brutal, honestly. Last couple weeks, surprisingly so. So what I thought was, we talk about animal totems every week, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to use this full moon as a way to connect with your animal spirits, connect with your guides, your angels, however you would like to do that. So I created this little, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm hoping if I hold it up, because I'm so bad at sharing my, okay, so there we go. We'll do that. So this is a little exercise. I hope you can read it backwards. It may be stupid that I'm doing this, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to read to you the various steps that you can go through to create a meditation so that you can meet your team and really start to build on your melted morsels. Good morning. Okay, so what I wanted to do is give you the steps. So I'm going to just read to you the steps that go ahead and do this meditation. So the first thing you want to do is just down. Okay, you don't have to do any ohms, anything like that. It's just allowing your physical body to melt away. And the way that you do that is to focus in on your breathing for a few minutes. Then from there, I want you to, in your mind's eye, say thank you to God and the angels for all those who watch over you and those that are guiding you and protecting you, and that you want to meet with them and any of their messengers, whether they be animal spirits, whether they be angels, whether they be guided masters. I mean, there are many different types of energy beings. So as you do this, continue your breathing, and then I want you to allow yourself the idea of moving into a large tree trunk. And when I was thinking about this, I was imagining the movie Avatar. Good morning, small wildflowers. And do you remember the Tree of Souls, you guys? Okay, whoops. So I printed it out. Imagine yourself moving into the tree trunk of the Tree of Souls, okay? And allowing yourself the idea that this place is huge. You can explore many things. So I want you to allow yourself the privilege of moving into the tree trunk. And as you explore the tree trunk, you find a forest within that tree trunk. Let your imagination take you anywhere you want to go. You can walk through the forest. You can sit in meditation in the forest. You can fly through this forest if you want, but allow yourself the privilege of taking in the sights, the sounds, and even smells, symbols, anything that attracts your attention. This is all done through your imagination, okay? And as you allow yourself to do that, you invite in, again, your guides, your angels, whoever would be most suited to facilitating and supporting your journey right now. So then just allow yourself to sort of have that soft focus we talked about with the automatic writing. And some of you may not experience anything the first time you try this, and some of you may experience all sorts of wild stuff. Just take it in, pay attention. If indeed an animal spirit comes through, pay attention to the characteristics of that animal, pay attention to its habits, its coloring, its movement, its characteristics. All of this has a message within it. So just allow, and as they come through, engage in conversation with them through your mind's eye. It may sound like your voice to you. It may not sound like some, booming voice of God, but know that that is how spirit talks through us, is through those subtle urgings that sound just like us. So once you allow yourself the privilege of having this encounter, and when you feel the time is over, then thank this energy for coming to you. Thank them again for guiding you and protecting you, and ask them to give you validation of this experience so that you can take it out of your imagination and into the physical 3D world. Ask them to give you signs and omens of their being energy. So whatever transaction or whatever transpired, I guess is the word I want to use, during your interaction, use the elements of that for spirit to confirm. So let's say you had an animal totem come through and it was a winged animal. And so then you see feathers, or you see, you're watching television and you see, that same animal fly by. Pay attention to those kind of things, because this is something that these creatures want to work with you. They want to engage you. They want to support you. They want to let you know that they're here. So now you've asked them to give you validation throughout the week, and then you can depart and say thank you for whatever it is they are willing to work with you and teach you, and that's revealed through the dynamics of this animal. And don't be, you guys, if you get some animal like a rat or something that doesn't seem as pleasant as a butterfly, don't discount it, because everything has its light and dark. Everything has its opportunities and its obstacles. So now make your way through your imagination back through the forest, through the tree. Thank all the elements there. And then as you do that, know that you can come back into this meditation anytime to connect with your guides. I've done this many times, and I find it's really amazing to me, because the information that comes through always sounds like it's me, but it never feels like it's me. It always feels like it's coming from something more divine, something bigger than myself. So that's what I wanted to offer for this week. And yes, people, put your numbers in. This week's number was 422, and unfortunately, we did not have a winner. Okay, so here we go. We will start with our signs, and we're going backwards as usual, starting with Pisces. For those of you that may be new to the show, I go by rising sign. Yes, songs, absolutely, Valerie. Songs are a fabulous way. Music is one of the most, I think of music as spirit's language. I really do. I believe that when I see musical notes in my mind, it's spirit sending or showing me prayers being sent to heaven. So absolutely. These things, there's no right or wrong, guys. It's more about what resonates within your heart, and then allowing yourself to ask spirit to validate that. And anything you see 3 times will be a validation of that. How cool is my little manicure this week, guys? I have to say. It's the big birthday week for me. I'm turning 60 on Thursday. I will have actually made it to all those solar returns, the long awaited. Okay, here we go. Pisces, rising, sun, moon, and stelliums. Quick shuffle. Okay. Here we go. Our first angel is Seraphina. The second is Layla. The third is Yvonne. And the final is Merlina. All right, let's see where we're going. I got to tell you guys, this full moon is so... Thank you, Barbara. Welcome, everybody, by the way. Good morning, everybody. Laura, VK, Melissa, Barbara, Valerie, Huda, everybody that I missed. Laura, did I say Laura? Okay, so you guys... Brian Coulter, new on Lada's channel, did a great video this week about this dynamic with this This moon, you guys got to listen to it. It's talks a lot about Libra and Scorpio, and I swear I thought he was talking directly to me because I've really experienced a lot of like crazy, crazy stuff out of nowhere. So when I was looking at the transits and I'm noticing the degrees, we've got Pluto at 20 degrees, we've got the Sun at 20 degrees, we've got the moon I think is something was at 18 degrees, and I guess that would make sense because of the T-square. And holy moly, if stuff just didn't come out of nowhere that made no sense. So be gentle with yourself, honestly. Hi, Scotland. I guess it's Gina. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Jana. Okay, here we go. Joining Serafina is the forgiveness card. Joining Layla is the partnership card. Joining Yvonne is the Baird. And joining Merlina is Merlin. Okay, so there's a combo. All right, so for Pisces. So this is what I kind of want to say. I really want to back up what Brian was saying, because this week and this next few months, we talk about it almost every week. No matter how mindful you are, it could be challenging, because Serafina and the forgiveness card to me, for Pisces rising, Pisces sun, Pisces moon, Pisces stelliums. Serafina talks about a happy change to my family, and then we have the forgiveness card. In some respects, it may be a week where you're going to have to dig deep, and not for I don't think this is about forgiving other people. I think this might be about looking deeper into yourself and to some of the patterns you have. Because I say that because in the final position with Merlina and Merlin, Merlin is a karmic card for me. It's balance through pressure. It is justice. It is alchemy. And then Merlina is saying it's time to do more research. And when I look at it, the reason I'm saying research, I think it's soul searching, okay? Because Layla is asking me to go into nature and to see how I show up in partnerships. And this is not about just any partnerships. This is about the partnership with yourself. I say that because, and I'll make more sense as I'm going to round it all out. For my Pisces, we're starting with Pisces and we go back towards Aries. This is the card of my history, and this is the card of my vulnerability. I'm slowing down because it says my connection is unstable right now, and I'm giving it a minute. Okay, Pisces. What I think this is about right now is about you reconciling your experiences in order to have the happy family, happy change that you want. And in order to do that, you're going to have to look at how you're showing up. Where is your story, your history tripping you up a bit? Where are you not feeling safe? Because Yvonne is a card of vulnerability. And in some ways, I feel like Pisces is feeling vulnerable to their history, to things that have happened before, potentially happening again. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that that's what Merlina and what Merlin is saying, that in some ways, in order for you to find that balance that you're looking for, to find the trust in your experiences so you can walk through this dynamic, is to see how you participate. And that may be that either you're too forgiving or not forgiving enough, or when you go through a pattern, we get cycled into behaving in a pattern. And in order to shift the pattern, we have to be more aware of our own behaviors. And I want to offer this because sometimes if we can't shift a behavior or fake it, then sometimes maybe it's best to remove yourself until you can address it in a way that you feel is constructive. Because I really believe that that's what's going on for Pisces this week. It's not just my intimate partnerships, but my relationships within myself that then bleed out into the outer world. Okay, there we go. All right, Casey, I hope welcome if you're new. We've only just started. We are on Pisces and we work our way towards Aries. I kind of like to go backwards. Everybody else goes the other way, so we do it a little different here. Okay, let's go on to Aquarius. Yes, happy birthday to all my fellow Librans. All right, here we go for Aquarius. Rising sun, moon, and stelliums, guys. I really feel like it's important to pay attention to the sign in which you have a number of planets that's going to have influence on you. So I think it's important. Okay, here we go. Aquarius, our first angel is Archangel Uriel. The second is Serena. The third is Sonia. And the final is Chantal. All right, here we go. Okay, joining Archangel Uriel is the Wind Fairy. Joining Serena is the Bee card. Joining Sonia is the Earth Fairy. And joining Chantal is the Lady of the Lake. Okay, so for my Aquarius, Archangel Uriel and the Wind Fairy are really a little bit of a challenging dynamic. I'm not going to lie. Not only is Aquarius an air sign, it's also ruled by Uranus, which rules the airwaves. And I feel like you may be in a loop a little bit because Archangel Uriel talks about unforgiveness, anger, frustration. And when we think about this Pluto T-square there's two of them really, if you think about it, because Saturn and Pluto are so close to one another that this full moon is hitting both points. So there can be the potentials that this can trigger bit of your story. And the challenge is when we're in our heads, it's really difficult to feel spirit's influence. When we're in a story and in a loop, and you're angry, it's such a dense vibration that literally it's almost like walking through quicksand or almost dry cement. And so it's very difficult for spirit to get through. So in my opportunity and or my obstacle is a beautiful set of Serena and the Bee card. For my Aquarius, this is about your being energy. And when you look at your being energy, what do you believe? What do you want to believe about the future? Because the past isn't going to take you anywhere that you want to go. So this is where Serena talks about abundance, but this is not about financial abundance. This is about abundance in my being energy. As I shift my being energy, as I'm aware of how I'm being for myself and others, then I will receive the things that I want. If you look at it here, Serena is very, very calm. She's receiving without resistance. And so this is a being energy without resistance because in the angel's advice is Sonia and the Earth Fairy. And for me, this is about, Sonia talks about a deceased loved one, but when we're talking about a big, huge group of people like this is my guides, this is my angels being represented, and this is where a new foundation can come in. It's where I am connecting and I'm trusting on a bigger level that spirit will bring all that I want. I'm shifting out of my history of where I've been and what I've experienced that has pissed me off and in my head, because in the final position is Chantal and the Lady of the Lake. And Chantal is an angel of romance primarily, but I want to offer it this way because Chantal, in this case, I feel like this is your viewpoint of relationships. And this is about a deeper truth. You know, the thing about it is that everybody has to be the wrong one until the right one shows up. That's just the way it works. And we get sick of the journey. We get sick of the wrong ones. We get sick of the nonsense of it because we aren't very brave in our love bodies as humans. You know, we're afraid to tell our truth. And when we tell our truth, then, you know, sometimes you get your head lobbed off for telling your truth. So it is what it is. But I want to offer this for Aquarius overall. I think that this week, this Pluto, you know, I was thinking about it because Pluto's the emotional dynamic, right? Those outer planets rule what's unseen. And then Saturn is the outerest planet of the 7 personal planets, right? So it's really like they're bringing what is unseen into the physical, and it's just like, and so it's about being gentle with yourself because this isn't going anywhere. And I hate to say it like this, but this disruption is in some ways a pruning. And whenever you prune your rose bushes, they blossom, they flourish. They may not like the pruning, but they become much more abundant. And we as humans going through this transit at once every 184 years, we have agreed to go through this pruning because we no longer want to live in the illusion. We want to love our lives and live our truth. Okay, here we go on to Capricorn. I'm getting better at going backwards. We have some new people, I think, in the chat today. Good morning, Christopher. Good morning, Agent Loco Tweet Song. I think that's it. And Chicky Gundu, welcome, welcome. Okay, here we go. Let's see how our goats are going to go. I love a Cappy. And I realize that my Venus is at the Capricorn degree. And I was thinking about it this morning. And every significant man in my life has always been a Capricorn. So crazy. Can you imagine being married to a Capricorn doing what I do? They'd have to have a lot of other things in their chart. Okay, here we go. Good morning, Les. Thank you so much. That was so kind of you to say. All right, here we go for our Capricorns. Azure is our first angel. The second is Akasha. The third is Vanessa. And the final is Archangel Gabriel. Okay. Hello, Goddess Gifts. Okay. Our first joining Azure is the Horse. Joining Akasha is the Grail Knight. Joining Vanessa is the Love card. And joining Archangel Gabriel is the Swan. Wow. Okay. This feels pretty good in some ways. Okay, so Azure, because I want to say this. I really feel like I'm going into my love body here. So here is Azure and the Horse. Azure says your desired outcome. Oh, wait, no. It says, yeah, your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Have faith and patience and don't try to force it. And then there is the Horse. The Horse is a card of, to me, that's always represented not following fear. The horse, to me, when you try to lift a horse's legs to shoe it, if you're not confident, it will not lift its leg. It's also, to me, it says accepting help and knowing. This is the knowing that comes in, okay? And then I want to say this too about the Horse for Capricorn. You may be breaking new ground. We talked a few weeks ago about horse being a totem, and a horse helped bring connection to man. So what I want to see is that, or what I'm thinking is that connection is coming. Connection to one another. And I'm saying it this way, because even if you're in a relationship, it doesn't always mean that you feel connected in the relationship. So it's about the quality of relationship. It's about, if you're single, as I am and have been for almost 60 years on Thursday, I still believe that love is in my chart, that love is coming to me. So that's where I know my desired outcome will happen, and I'm turning it over to Spirit, because in the opportunity, the obstacle is the Grail Knight. This is Lancelot. This is the romance card, and it's also seeking the sacred. Anybody can actually be in a couplehood. But what we want in a couplehood is connection. And we're no longer needing to be in connection to survive. This is now more of the outer planets connection. These are the emotional planets. This is the emotional time where we want to be connected to the parts of us that can't be seen outside. And there's Akasha. Akasha is the spiritual teacher. That is what I believe that, okay, so in the opportunity, the obstacle for Capricorn, as you start to really give life to this idea, you become an inadvertent teacher. You become a person who other people experience walking through, and think about how practical Capricorn is. So, and believing in love, because in the angel's advice is the love card, and have faith. So this to me is really, really powerful. It's about, because that faith is a focus. The focus is the alert to spirit that allows them to be delegated to allow them to help you. Because in the final position is Archangel Gabriel and the Swan. Now, Archangel Gabriel lots of times talks about, turning over your insecurities to her. But this is what I believe. I believe more and more spirit has shown me people choosing love in a different way. And as a result of choosing that love in a really rich kind of way, we are allowing to transform ourselves. And that's what the Swan is doing. And so I want to offer it this. As Capricorn walks through this week, and maybe some things through this, Pluto rules sex. So maybe, you find yourself feeling very amorous this week. Allow yourself that privilege of expression and let your partner know it. If you're not in a partnership, give yourself permission to know that you didn't want just any partner. You want a partner that is aligned to you. So now it's time to allow Azure to do her magic and allow Archangel Gabriel and the Swan to complete it for you. I hope that made sense. It made perfect sense to me. Okay. The thing we as humans want most is love. And the thing that we tend to challenge ourselves with is when we feel love threatened in some ways, we can sometimes have a patterned reaction. So we come at it through all the previous experiences. The thing to do, and that's what's so great about this full moon, is allowing the pattern to serve you as a piece of information, but not tether you to it so that you walk into every new situation thinking that you're walking into the same old situation. I hope that made sense. All right, let's go on to our Sagittarius. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Tebow, Miko. Hope I got everybody. Okay. On to Sagittarius, everybody. All right. Our first angel is Isaiah. The second is Archangel Gabriel. The third is Maya. And the final is Caressa. Good morning, Tara. Okay. Joining Isaiah is Merlin. Joining Archangel Gabriel is the Stag. Joining Maya is the Movement card. And joining Caressa is the Water Fairy. Okay. Isaiah talks about time to give birth to new ideas and new situations, and that you're being guided and protected by God and the angels. And then there's Merlin. Merlin talks about justice, balance, and alchemy. And it's interesting to me because what I want to say is there is the potential that over these next, not just this week, but that over the next few months, the Sagittarius will really want your beliefs may be shifting about things. And when I say your beliefs, I mean that in the sense that you're wanting to claim yourself, what you want, wanting to evolve past just what you see and hear, in touch with your normal five senses, and to tap into more of a sixth sense, because I'm going to the final position and I'll round it all out. But here's the Water Fairy. The Water Fairy is about intuitions. It's about a deeper truth, a truth inside, our feelings, our emotions. And then there's Caressa. Caressa talks about coming to the end of a life cycle and that new happiness awaits. Sagittarius, the ninth house, represents the connection to the angelic realm. It represents that divine wisdom and knowledge. After the eighth house, where, basically the birth and the rebirth that Pluto offers, that's a shift in our beliefs. I believe for Sagittarius, this is a good time for you to really start to look at your dynamics, because it's time to stand up and be the leader that Jupiter represents. Jupiter represents priests. It represents people who have a certain wisdom, and the stag is leadership. And here is Archangel Gabriel talking about having an important life's mission in communications and the arts. And I say that this is in my opportunity, my obstacle, because there is Maya, the card of schooling and education, and the movement card. So not everybody is going to be an educator, but what I do believe is that as you give life to new ideas and new situations, you stand in leadership just through the people experiencing you, which actually shifts not only them, but you as well, because the more you stand in that leadership for yourself, the more you believe in that leadership for yourself, which is why Caressa is talking about the end of a life cycle. It's the end of pretending you're not a powerful being. It's the end of pretending that you are not a major manifester. And now is a time to know that from an intuitive level. And in doing so, connect to your guides and your angels so that they can show you that truth. Okay, that was fun. Let's go on to Scorpio. I was walking my dog this morning, and this woman, I think you guys know I live in Laguna Beach, so there were apparently this is a tourist of some kind, and her daughter's like, "Mommy, look at that house," and her mom said to her, "Oh, someday, honey, someday. Maybe if you think about it enough, you'll have a house like that." And I thought to myself, you bet, honey, you keep your focus on a house like that, and spirit will bring it to you. It's the doubt, it's the wobble that trips things up. And I know as humans, if we haven't experienced something, it's hard to really grab onto it. And that's why when we stand in our light, we and allow ourselves the privilege of stretching the box, of moving past what we think can happen, then we end up inadvertently giving people an experience that they want to try out. I hope that made sense. Okay, we're going on to Scorpio, guys, and we're heading towards Aries. Backwards is forwards here on my show in the morning. So many new faces. Good morning, Angie. Okay, here we go on to our Scorpios. Now, this is in some ways, this Pluto is this moon it's maybe an Aries full moon, but it is at the Pluto degree in a Pluto square. Pluto T square with the sun and the moon, and it's right near Saturn. So this next 2 weeks. All right, first angel is Celeste. The second is Xana. The third is Mystique. And the final is Bridget. Okay, here we go. All right, joining Celeste is the Swan. Joining Xana is the Spider, is the Forgiveness card. And joining Bridget is the Joy card. All right, Scorpio. Okay, here we go. So Celeste talks about a new home and a new place of employment, ushering in new happiness. And then we have the Swan. The Swan obviously is, well, I've been talking about it this morning, but the Swan is about transformation. It's about transformation and trusting my intuitive gifts. For me, Celeste is really a shift in the way I'm thinking, because you can move my physical body anywhere, and I'm going to think the way I think, and I'm going to take my actions based on my beliefs. So for my Scorpios, I believe that this period of time, not just this moon, but this period of time as this conjunction happens, is really an opportunity to be the phoenix, to shift the way you're thinking in order to get out of that dark, brooding place where you can go sometimes. You know, it's not fun, because in the final position for my Scorpios, I have, interesting here, Bridget is a card of caution to look deeper, and then I have the Joy card. This to me is very reflective of Scorpio's opportunity to look to see where their mind focuses in on the things that haven't worked, on the old stories, on the stories that you're telling yourself over and over and over again. I used to have this period of time, and I didn't realize it, but my progressed sun, I'm a late degree Libra. I'm born on Spica, 23 degrees. And so I went through my first progressed sun quite early, and it went to Scorpio. And there was a very large period of time where I was brooding and focusing in on all the crimes that people had perpetrated on me and all the hurts, and it wasn't serving me. It was creating a momentum that was keeping me in a loop. And I'd be in the laundry room doing my laundry, having arguments with everybody done me wrong. I felt like a sniper, in my mind's eye, and I just got so tired of it. So when my progressed sun moved into Sagittarius, it was such a relief, and I didn't even know it. But as I've studied astrology, and I've lined it up with the transits and the shifts in my life, which is why I'm so excited about turning 60. Things are only going to get better. I wouldn't go back to save anything, because I say that for Scorpio, because you are being protected. That's what Xana says. Xana says that all types of harm are behind you. So you don't need to bring the old story in and go. I'm sorry, I should have said to Bridget, go into that loop again, because it's time to give. The spider is about creative projects, but the spider is also, for me, about the fly that has a cooperative relationship that goes into that web, and that relationship sticks. So I believe you're being protected from any types of harm, and it's time for this new way of thinking to actually stick, because Mystique is saying to keep charging ahead, to expect miraculous solutions, and there's the forgiveness card. To me, this is the reconciliation card, and it's where I make sense of it. Our challenges as humans are grandly designed by our own souls. God doesn't pick one person to have a miserable life and another person to be happy. How would a loving God do that? A loving God says, I'll let you pick, and then I'll support you as you lift the veil of unknowing, as you lift the veil of hurt. Because many times, and I hate to say it this way, but the hurt is a cooperative relationship too. The soul sometimes comes in a compromised dynamic, because it will offer itself lovingly to another, so that other person can show kindness, can show compassion, can show love, can show empathy. And sometimes that other soul doesn't take the invitation. So you're really robbing yourself, Scorpios, by brooding on the invitation you offered others. Take the invitation off the table and allow yourself to move forward, so that you can experience the joy that is rightfully yours. As you shift your way of thinking, you can be transformed. And then Pluto becomes the most amazing dynamic, because then it doesn't go away. It sticks. Okay, I hope that made sense. I'm going on to my Libras. Okay. All right, guys, here we go to our birthday people, our Libras. Happy birthday to everybody. I would sing to you, but I only like to sing the Beatles version of Happy Birthday. They say it's your birthday. You're having a birthday. We have 88 people in the room. This is awesome. 88's great and up. And there goes 87. All right. That's what I get for singing. All right, Libras, here we go. Woo. Our first angel is Francesca. The second is Sonia. The third is Teresa. And the final is Bethany. All righty. Good morning, Miriam. I don't think I said good morning to you. Okay, here we go. All right. Joining Francesca is the Goblin. Joining Sonia is the Disruption card. Joining Teresa is the Trust card. And joining Bethany is the Focus card. Ay, ay, ay. This is so fun, Libra. Yay. Not. All right, here we go. Francesca says, visualize what you want, because it will come about. Negativity will block your progress. And then we have the ego. I got to tell you guys, So obviously I'm a Libra. My birthday's this week. I have had the most challenging dynamics recently, and I have had one ego is stuck in it. It's a loop in my, just got done talking about the loop in your head, right? I still get loops in my head, and I got a loop in my head, and I've been praying to spirit I've been thanking them for removing the loop. And I still haven't conquered it quite yet, but I want to offer it this way because here is Sonia. Sonia represents a deceased loved one or my guides. In this number of people, I believe it represents my guides. And then there's the disruption card. And this is what I learned. Oh, dear goodness gracious. I'm just going to do that real quick. And then, pardon me. Okay, sorry, small wildflowers. Okay, so this is the thing. This disruption card and Sonia, this is what I want to say. Sometimes you hear people talk about their stories and their lives, and they tell you things, and you think, oh, well, that's not going to happen to me. You know, that might have happened with that person over there, but not with me. And if you hear somebody who tells you the same thing over and over again, like they're the person who's always at odds with somebody, you can bet they're at some point going to be at odds with you. And that's what I think was happening to me this week. I was listening to somebody's stories, and I had a sympathy for them that I wasn't paying attention to. And that's what this disruption was about, because the signs were all over the place. The signs were all over the place. And for some reason, I just didn't pay attention. And it started, and then it threw me into this loop. It totally threw me into a loop. And here's Teresa. This is a card of worry and taking care of others. And this is the trust card. When I was speaking to Spirit about my ego that got bashed this last 2 weeks, Spirit kept saying to me over and over again, when you focus in on the darkness, you dim your light. When you focus in on somebody else behaving a certain way, and you really have nothing to do with it, this is your opportunity. You got to disrupt that thought. And you also have to start to pay attention to people and what they tell you and how they show up instead of ignoring it, because I was ignoring it. And that's what happens is we get bored, or we get lonely, or we get tired of always going by ourselves somewhere, or always having to pick this thing up or be the strong one. And so we inadvertently ignore signs because of this temporary relief we're feeling from whatever was not there. Because Libra, you are the sign of balance. You are the sign of justice. You are the sign of diplomacy. You're also charming and well-liked most of the time. So I feel like here, Bethany is saying, take care of yourself and pay attention to what is happening. The focus is on you right now, taking care of you. And in order for you to actually be able to help others more efficiently, paying attention to this, like, Libra's going to balance out. Libra's going to want to be fair. And that's why I think sometimes I miss things. I hear stories and I hear them over and over again. And then I hear them start to be repeated, the same story. And I keep going at it almost like, oh, I can help you. Here's a piece of information. And the person doesn't really want the piece of information. They just want to complain. Don't let your ego get bashed. Move towards yourself this week, Libra. It's your birthday month. Take care of you. Love on you. Allow yourself to pay attention to things that are disruptive in your life and turn them over to Spirit. Because as you take care of yourself, you've got a bigger mission going on here. You have something to offer those around you. So it's important to take care of you and focus in on you. All right, let's go into our Virgos. Okay, here we go. Small wildflowers. It was so crass. I just couldn't wait. I'm sorry. All right. Valerie, that's exactly, you're right on there. You know, sometimes we just have to, no matter what sign we are, we have to put the mask on ourselves first, and we can't help anybody else. And sometimes, you know, I will inadvertently get sympathetic for somebody. I won't even realize I'm doing it. And I'll start to try to make concessions to make them feel better. That's my Libra, because my Aries doesn't want to do that. And my Taurus moon doesn't want to do it either. Okay, here we go. It was just, one little snarky thing. I got it. Okay, here we go. We are on to our Virgos, and we're going backwards, Miss Wizard Tarot. So we're headed towards Aries. All right, Virgos, here we go. Virgo rising, Virgo sun, Virgo moon, Virgo stelliums. You got a Virgo stellium, you pay attention to it, man. That's powerful energies. Any stellium's powerful. So you've been doing your whole life, you've been looking up your sun and your moon and your rising, and you had a stellium with none of those planets in there. And you're wondering why. Look there. Okay, Virgo, here we go. Our first angel is Indriel. The second is Layla. The third is Caressa. And the final is Oceana. All right. All right, here we go. Our first, joining Indriel is the communications card. Joining Layla is the Lady of the Lake. Joining Caressa is the Wasp. And joining Oceana is the forgiveness card. Well, this full moon is going to be doing its thing, I'll tell you. Okay, so for my Virgos, Indriel is the light worker card. And I believe that every single human being on earth is a light energy being. I believe that is our natural way, our truth. And then we have the communications card. I really think this is about shining your light this week. I think this is about looking, this full moon and the 2 weeks of influence that it has is really about keeping your eye on the prize of what is authentic to Virgo. That's your light. What is authentic to you? And in your communications, this could be anything from writing, it could be from speaking, it could be, I don't know why I'm very much feeling the Mercury aspect of it. So really allow yourself to be authentic in all your communications, because we have that backed up by the Lady of the Lake, which is self-respect, responsibility, and ultimately the courage to speak my truth. And then we have Layla. Layla is about spending time in nature, allowing God and the angels to comfort you and guide you and give you signs and omens. Because what I want to say for Virgo, there's a little bit of challenging dynamic here in the angels' advice. We have the Wasp and we have Caressa. Caressa talks about the end of a life cycle, the new happiness awaits us, and the Wasp is a stinging energy. Your truth may not necessarily, or your way of being may not necessarily be favorable to others. And I want to say it this way, because if you've been serving a purpose for somebody and you no longer want to serve the purpose for them and you tell them your truth, that may be what the stingy part is. And there may be some conclusions that come as a result of this dynamic. There are people, for me, one of the big dynamics with this Pluto-Saturn thing, when I was thinking about it, is, if Pluto's all the emotional dynamics and Saturn brings it into the real world, then those of us that have been standing in a position of supporting others and not being treated fairly, it could bubble some stuff up in a big way. It could really actually blow things up where you're just like, I'm done. Because here in the final position is Oceana saying to take action, to lovingly assert yourself towards what you want. And there's the forgiveness card. To me, this is really reconciliation. And that is in direct relation to you being who you want to be, expressing yourself in that way. And, I kind of want to put it this way. In every office, there's administrative people. The administrative people are usually, my experience as a previous administrator was I was never paid for what I was actually valuable, the value I brought, because I didn't bring money to the table. Salespeople were paid because they brought money. So for me, this week for Virgo is about really seeing your own value and like letting this full moon illuminate and then end any imbalance in the way that you are perceiving yourself, speaking your truth, and then trusting that, you know what, if indeed you've been moving somebody else's story forward and you've been good at it, they may not want you to change that position. They may not want you to grow. They may in concept like for you to do whatever you want to do, but then when it comes to practical application, they may be very resistant. So Virgo will want to do it right, will want to be fair and practical in some ways and realistic. And I think that you're going to have to think outside the box this week. I think you're going to have to start to really reconcile what you want for yourself and to take action on that. Okay, so let's move on to our Leo. I'm just going to do that. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of my water. I'm going to show you guys, actually, I'm going to show you guys this cool thing I got. One of my clients this week brought me this for my birthday. It's a quartz crystal inside a water bottle. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's so cool. So the water actually is infused with the crystal. And I put it out. I put it out last night. I'm going to put it out again tonight. Oh, that's the other thing I want to tell you guys. Hold on, let me take a sip. The full moon is a wonderful time to clear your crystals. If indeed you are a person who carries crystals, works with crystals, has crystals, putting them out into the moonlight. So for me, the moon reflects onto my table, and I'll put all my crystals out on the table and allow them to be cleaned. So that's another thing. Small wildflowers always cleanse. When you get a new crystal, always cleanse it, because it's been hanging around with a bunch of other crystals and people touching it and stuff. So that's one way to do it. You do not want to put selenite in water in any way. You can also use salt. You can use not table salt, but like a sea salt. And you can put your crystals in the sea salt and leave them there for 24 hours and it'll clear them. All right. I didn't plan on telling you guys that, but there you go. Okay. On to Leo. Here we go, Leo. Okay, here we go. Our first angel is Ariel. The second is Crystal. The third is Isabella. And the final is Sonia. It's interesting. Okay. Kuan Yin 77. I love that name. I have a beautiful Kuan Yin. I don't know where she, oh, she's right over here, actually. I'll have to show it to you guys one day. Okay. Kuan Yin is the Mother Mary of the Asian religious, I can't remember if it's just Japanese or if it's all, but anyway, she's Mother Mary. Okay. Joining Ariel is the Lady of the Lake. Joining Crystal is the Spider. Joining Isabella is the Joy card, and joining Sonia is the Letting Go card. Okay. So Ariel talks about psychic and spiritual experiences changing the way that you view yourself and the world. And really, this is the ascension. Ariel represents the ascension. It is where we start to realize that we are energetic beings. And the Lady of the Lake is always about courage, the courage to speak our truth, to be our truth, to embody our truth. And sometimes maybe that isn't speaking it, it is just embodying it, because this is Excalibur. And as you guys, I think you know, I've mentioned water represents our emotions. It represents our intuitions. It's that receiving. So it's our natural way of being. So for my Leos, now is time to me to actually, for you to have the courage to actually see the connection and pay attention to the connection. Because, and I'm going to go to the final and then I'll go back. I have Sonia, which is the connection to a deceased loved one. And I want to say this too, because as I said that, I feel like there may actually be loved ones from the other side that do want to let you to know that the veil is thinner, that the connection between you is closer than you would imagine. The illusion of death creates a feeling of loss, and there is really no loss. We go on and on and on. We are never getting off this ride. And what this ride does is offer us choices. And the better we get at making our choices, the more happiness that we demonstrate or feel in the physical, which makes us want to come back and do it all over again. So here's the letting go card. The letting go card, you guys know I talk about it all the time. For me is that movie Frozen. It's the song Let It Go. It's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits, to break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. That's what this is about. Leo, as you connect more and more to spirit and have the courage to believe that that connection is not just your imagination or a coincidence or something random, you'll start to see it stick. And then you'll start to really believe what Crystal offers, that there's something more on the horizon that you can't see. And then the spider. The spider's where it sticks. The spider's where once that fly gets in the web, it's not coming out. So if you have something that you're endeavoring, if you have a project you're endeavoring, if you have a career dynamic that you want to move forward, trust that and give it to spirit. Enjoy, because in the angel's advice, they're saying yes, the timing is right for this new venture. And then the joy card. Joy is the vibration of manifestation. It is the most difficult uh, emotion for humans to feel, because the minute they start to feel it, they start to feel the fear of it going away, the loss of it. But as Leo connects to spirit, truly connects, you rewrite the story. And then you start to demonstrate why the sun rules you, because you start to really look like the king. So I feel like this is really good for Leo, and for all of us, by the way. Okay, so here we go. On to our Cancers. For this, I want to say to the Emperor, it sounds like you're going through a very challenging time with this transit, but I want to offer you this. I don't know if you've heard how long you've been in the room, or if you've listened to me before, but the focus on the injustice robs us of our happiness. The trust that it's hard sometimes to trust that karma will come back, because we want to see evidence of it. But oftentimes our own happiness is the very karmic dynamic that serves people who have been unjust to us. So I offer you this: do your best to move towards your future and let those people sit in the rearview mirror. Okay, here we go. On to my Cancers. I like to call you moon children. I love that. Hi, VK. Sending lots of love to you, honey. I think about you every day. Yes, it is. Life is what you make it. But sometimes, the brain is an organ. It is something it's branded. And when we're young, we start to get into the loop, right? So just the way our heart beats without us telling it to beat, and our liver works without us telling it to flush out the toxins, we think that we're telling our brain stuff, but our brain is branded with our experiences. So sometimes you have to work at really being conscious of your thought and then directing it so you can retrain it to accept joy versus focusing in on the opposite. Okay. All right. So I'm on to my Cancers. Here we go. Our first angel is Xana. The second is Rosetta. The third is Athena. Whoop. And the final is Shanti. Okay. Joining Xana is the Joy card. Joining Rosetta is the Lady of the Lake. Joining Athena is the Serpent. And joining Shanti is the Water Fairy. Okay. So, for my Cancers, The Xana represents protection. And for me, this is more spiritual protection versus physical protection. It's emotional protection. Xana is telling me that the worst is behind me. And then I have the joy card. We just talked about how joy really is the antidote for everything. Being able to put ourselves into a place where we can see our future and our intentions so clearly that they seep into our heart, because here I have Rosetta and I have the Lady of the Lake. I want to say this. So we talk, the fourth house rules children, mothering, home, and property. But I really believe that this is for Cancer's itself. It's in some ways, Cancer can sometimes be insecure, sometimes feel, because they're so nurturing. Sometimes I think that they focus so much on the outside that they're hoping that they're being helpful to others, and it can trigger a little bit of insecurity. And I think that this is about your inner child and knowing that you're doing everything that you can do for everyone around you. Okay. Because I really don't feel like this is for you as a individual. I feel like it's for Cancer as a collective, how you're landing on others, or how you're being perceived in your posse, in your tribe, in your family. Excuse me. Excuse me. Because in the angel's advice, I have the serpent and I have Athena. Athena says to lovingly assert yourself, and then to allow for this healing and knowledge and the shedding of a skin. And I want to say this, because as you allow your inner child to speak her truth to your own heart, you don't need to go telling everybody else if that's not authentic to you. I believe that this offers you a new set of eyes, a new set of honestly, a new pair of shoes to walk through, because Shanti offers peace, and peace through my emotions. That's where I'm going with this. For some reason, there may be, with my Cancers this week, you may be feeling underappreciated. You may be feeling as if you work so hard for everyone that you love around you and they're not reciprocating. And I think that this is a little bit about taking your power back for you and giving yourself permission to put the focus in on you. And then you can go to the outside and take care of others. All right, let's go on to our Geminis now. Anytime somebody is sending intentional bad energy to another, they're actually boomeranging it back to themselves. When I find myself, I'm dressing the Emperor right now. When I find myself in what I would call an adversarial dynamic, I focus in on sending that person away with the highest and greatest intention for them. And I will let Spirit and God and angels and their own soul take care of their punishment, for lack of a better term. Because if you think about people who spend that much time trying to screw other people over, are really coming from a vibration of so much fear that it can't be fun living in their heads. So yeah, and this conjunction, this is the other thing. If you're new to my show, The Emperor, I have called this Pluto-Saturn insurance commercial where the guy's like, "Hey buddy, I'm breaking into your car," and he's like, it's all that mayhem guy. That's what these two folks are doing right now. They're bubbling up all that, and you may, Emperor, be acting as Spirit's agent without even realizing it. Okay, all right, here we go. Woo! Oh yes, well you may need to act on it, but it's acting in a way that's coming from spirits. It's not, because if you go into the dumpster with them, you won't be effective. So you need to, or you get to, remove yourself from that while still taking action. I'm in a situation where I've got a big Goliath, as I call it, and I feel like David, but we know how that story played out. All right, here we go. On to Gemini. Aurora is our first angel. Oceana is our second. Crystal is our third. And Celeste is our last angel. The timestamps are going to be important today, guys. Sorry. Okay. This is an interactive show. We're live, so we like to chat with each other. Sorry if I'm not being expeditious. I apologize. Please indulge me. It's my birthday week. Cheap shot. Okay. Aurora is being joined by the partnership card. Oceana is being joined by the Lady of the Lake. Wow. Crystal's being joined by the protection card. And Celeste is being joined by the Wasp. Okay. The Lady of the Lake is coming up so much today that I feel like she's representing the truth of Pluto. I really do. So here's Aurora. You're flying high right now, which may threaten others, but don't descend. Continue on, because you will soon set an example for them. And then we have the partnership card. I want to say this for my Geminis. This flying high right now and not descending, threatening others, is breaking the box of thought. If you're actually doing something different than other people are thinking, you're throwing them off. And I feel like the partnership card, it could very well be about an outside partnership, but I think this is about the twins, the Gemini twins, okay? So as you bring them together and you allow them to, rather than fight with each other, this, that, back and forth, they come into concert with each other. They come into partnership. You're breaking your box of the way you think, because Oceana is saying to lovingly assert yourself towards the things you want in your thoughts this time. And there's the Lady of the Lake. This sword is cutting through the muck here. It is rising, the nonsense is rising up through the lake, and nothing but the truth will remain. And this is about self-respect and responsibility. So it is absolutely a time for Gemini to assert yourself in your self-respect, in your boundaries, in what's true for you, so that you may indeed experience the things you want. Because in the angel's advice is Crystal saying have faith and hope, because there's more on the horizon. And then there's the protection card. This is what this whole conjunction has been about since December 2017, when Saturn moved into Capricorn. It was about raising whatever was fear-based, was inauthentic, and bringing it to the surface so that it could be transformed. Because here is Celeste. She talks about a happy move to a new home and a new place of employment, ushering in new positive energy. This is the way I think. And then I have the Wasp. And you may piss some people off the way you think. They may not be happy with you right now. They may not be crazy mad at you, but by holding the line of what you want, by allowing Aurora to do her magic, and you be in concert with yourself and your own desires of what you want, then you will give another person an opportunity to either line up with that or bring in new resources, people, dynamics that will align to that. I don't think this Wasp is really crazy this week, as much as I feel like as long as you're gentle in the way that you present yourself, then you will be successful in it. And this week is going to this full moon. This full moon is, this T-square is at 20 degrees. I feel like it's so Marsian Pluto-y, because Mars ruled Scorpio. So it's, yeah. Okay, going on. Sorry. Going on to Taurus. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Shifty Scorp. I'm so glad that Spirit nudged you to wake up and to hear this, because that's my prayer every morning when I do the show. I thank God and the angels for me being able to be their messenger so that they can get their words out to you to support you in this journey of yours. All right, here we go. Taurus. Taurus sun, Taurus moon, Taurus rising, Taurus stelliums. Hi, Rosaria. Welcome. We're keeping good thoughts for you, the Emperor. Ooh, okay, so our first angel is Seraphina. Our second is Isabella. Our third is Layla. And the final is Serena. Here we go. All right, joining Seraphina is the Lady of the Lake again. Okay, look at this deck, guys. I am not, I'm shuffling. You're seeing me shuffle, and she's coming out. This is such a week, a moon about your absolute truth, about your own courage to step in it. I'm telling you. Isabella is joined by the love card. Layla is joined by the truth card. And Serafina is being joined by the birth and the rebirth card. Okay. So Serafina talks about a happy change to my family. And that change, yes, it could represent a baby. But for the most part, when I put it here with the Lady of the Lake, this is, again, the absolute truth. This is the thing. I'm a Taurus moon, and I can no longer perpetrate behaviors that are not authentic to who and what I am and what I want to be in the world. And sometimes it feels like I pay a price because I'm not a sheeple. I just heard that word, sheeple. I loved it. Did you guys get it? And because I'm not a sheeple, I have to understand that the sheeps aren't going to always like me. So in order for there to be a happy change to Taurus, your truth to yourself, again, this Pluto, this freaking Saturn, this T-square, it's all there because we have the love card. And yes, the timing is right for this new venture. I want to say this too. Taurus, if indeed it is love outside yourself you want to experience, then get real with spirit, man. Be honest with them about what you want. If you're of an age where you want to start a family, you want to start those markers in life, you want to meet your person and move forward, then be real. Use this full moon to allow yourself to commune with God and the angels. Okay, now, then in the angel's advice, we have Layla and the truth card. This is akin to the Lady of the Lake. There is a time, this is the angel's advice for taking advantage of this energy. So again, connecting with spirit. Let's go back to the beginning of this video when we talked about meeting your people, your people on the other side. I gave you some steps for a meditation to be able to connect with them. That's what this is about, because Taurus, it's time for a rebirth. Here's Serena, the angel of abundance, and there's the birth and the rebirth card. Uranus has been transiting Taurus. It's going to continue to do so. I think it's at 5 degrees now, so we've got a ways to go. And so for me, this is really about connecting with spirit on a really deep, authentic level about the deeper truths that I want, not things I think I can get. Okay, it's not about I want $1 million. Now I need to figure out how I'm going to get it. No, just put the $1 million out there, and then spirit will nudge you. And the more you connect with spirit, with your truth, the easier it will be for them to supply you with whatever you need, not just money. Because money can supply something, but money does not supply happiness. So if indeed the truth of what you want is love, then it's time to get clean. And that's about checking where the wobbles are. Well, I'd love to be in love, or I'd love to have this but. Anytime there's a but, it negates what came before it. So it really emphasizes what went beyond it, because that's where the real focus is. So for my Tauruses this week, you are being offered this dig deep about what you want and what you need in life. And if it's money, I want to say this. Money, Shawnee Race Tarot, I want to offer you this. Thanking spirit for all the resources to facilitate your move is the most powerful thing you can do, because it not only can bring you money, it could bring you movers, it could bring you, a new couch, it could bring you all sorts of things. So that's where I want to go with this. Really allowing Serena, there's a reason her name is Serena, because she is serene in her reception and knows that God and the angels will provide everything. And that's why we come here over and over again, to remember that and to implement it in the physical world. All right, on to Aries. Our final sign today, Aries rising, Aries sun, Aries moon, Aries stelliums. This is our moon. I'm an Aries rising. Oh, yes. Okay. I wanted to also mention that having a rough go, trying to not lose your cool with people in your life, that is absolutely what's going on right now, because the deeper truth is what's making you want to lose your cool. And if there are people that are feeding you the same old nonsense, or as I like to refer to it, BS, then it's going to be really hard to continue to want to swallow it. So I personally I've been in a quandary about some things. I don't quite know how to really handle them because when I'm trying to be gentle and authentic, nobody's listening. So I've just taken a time out, honestly, from things I think are volatile in my life, and just giving myself a little get out of jail free card. And if indeed that dynamic is meant to be revisited, then spirit will bring a perfect opportunity for it. So here we go. All right. Here we go, Aries, our final sign of the day. You guys, next week when you see me, I will be officially 60 years old. This is my last broadcast as a 59-year-old woman. Just want to say it. Here we go, Aries. First angel is Fiona. The second is Vanessa. The third is Athena. And the final is Seraphina. Whoa, I like that. Thank you, eyes. You know, I'll tell you, I wouldn't trade my youthful face for anything in the world because I've never been happier in my life. All of those, you know, the angst of youth is long gone, thank goodness. Thank you, Human Patriot. All right, here we go. Fiona is being joined by the Queen. Vanessa is being joined by Merlin. Athena is being joined by the Dragon. And Seraphina is being joined by the Butterfly. All right, here we go. Fiona says, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving their guidance. Don't micromanage spirit. And here's the Queen. The Queen card right now, for me, this is a card of fertility. It's a card of reception. When I think about the ultimate energy of the Queen, it is feminine. It receives. And what is Fiona asking? For you to let God bring you everything that you need and to know that you are fertile in your manifestations. Because Merlin is here with Vanessa. And Vanessa says, have faith and hope. Or not that, I'm sorry. Vanessa says, are you going to base your decisions on faith or fear? And then Merlin says that there is alchemy to be gained as you make your decisions based on faith. Because right now, many of us may be starting to endeavor certain things and seeing a certain amount of progress in our projects and the things we want to experience in life. And Aries wants to move the story forward at, lightning speed, but sometimes there is a wisdom to the tortoise's path going a little bit slower. And when I say that, I say it because Athena and the Dragon are saying in the angel's advice to lovingly assert myself. And when I say that, I have to lovingly assert myself powerfully into believing that whatever this Merlin is balanced through pressure. It's not just balance. So there's something is brewing. Something is not quite lined up. It's the process of alchemy. So it isn't the manifestation of the alchemy. So right now for Aries, there's a part of you that has to own what it is you want as the Queen, and then give that to spirit, and then allow yourself to be guided towards the next action. I have a project I think I've mentioned that I'm working on, and when I first started the idea, I wanted to just jump out and make it happen and blow it out. And I realize now, Spirit has shown me this project may take a year, it may take 2 years. And it's really more about the quality of the project than it is about racing through it. Because I say that because here is Seraphina saying happy change is coming, and there's the butterfly. So much of what's going on right now for all of us, but for Aries this week, is in transformation. Everything this spread is saying is that God is in charge of how you will receive what it is you want. And your job is to stand in reception of that. Even though you're unsure, have faith that you deserve it and lovingly assert yourself that way. This is what you are good at, is assertion. So now it's time to assert yourself in a way that says, just because I can't see it doesn't mean it isn't happening, doesn't mean it isn't in the Ethernet being worked out, because that's where the caterpillar doesn't know it's going to turn into a butterfly. And that's why that happy change is so rooted. That's what all of this disruption that's been going on, what we've been experiencing in this conjunction and the various dynamics, because if you think about it, everything, every sextile, every trine, I mean, Pluto and Saturn have been so close together that everything is happening doubled up. Everything is like this square, this T-square is the two of them are squaring the moon and the sun. So as we are gentle with ourselves, knowing this is a transformational time, and then keep our eye on the prize, we will be the butterfly. We will be able to float on those airwaves in a way that just feels so warm. And that's all coming up. Okay. Thank you very much, Mieko, for my bracelet. Yeah, I got it off of Etsy, to be honest with you. It's got a little dot, the Day of the Dead. It's Hermite, too. So it gets rid of negative energy. All right. So, guys, that's it for now. Okay, all right. I'll try to get the timestamps up if I can. I've got a couple of clients this afternoon, but we'll put the timestamps up and we'll recap the numbers for you all. If you guys in the audience want to help us with the timestamps, that's great. You know, I talk too much in class. It's well documented. I'll be back next week as an official 60-year-old woman. Pretty soon I'll be able to apply for Social Security. Oh, God. All right, kids. Have a great week, everybody. Sending lots of love to you all. May God and the angels watch over you and keep you during the week. And we'll see you next week. Namaste. Bye-bye.